by the time you come to this part of matrices, you should be quite good with the technique of metric multiply by metric. Because in metric problem solving, we're going to put the information in a metric in different matrices. And then we will go by the technique that you have learned to find out some information. So there are some questions where the matrices will be given to you. You just need to be able to do the multiplication and then make some sense out of the multiplication. But there are some questions that you got to come up with a metric. And then when you need to come up with a metric, it meant that you need to fulfill the condition of the metric multiplication. Okay, so we're going to do it in a very progressive way. So in example 1 and example 2, these two are the basic one. So let's run through the basic 2 example first before we go to the more complex one. So if you read example 1, you've got two girls who sat for a math test, and that consists of 30 multiple choice questions. Okay, so if you look at the matrices, okay, so this is 2 times 3 matrix. So it shows you some numbers. So if you observe the numbers, so this is Anna. So Anna actually got 23 correct. She didn't attempt 4 questions, and then she got 3 that is incorrect. So out of the 30 questions, she got 23 correct. 4 didn't attempt, that means she left it blank, and then she got incorrect for 3 questions. And then for Fiona, she actually got 25 correct. She attempted everything because there are 0 not attempted question, but she got 5 wrong. So this is the information represented by the metric. Okay, and they gave the idea here about the marks allocation. For every correct answers, correct answers will earn 3 marks. If the person didn't attempt, they will get 0 marks. But if the person get it incorrect, it actually subtract 2 marks. Okay, so these marks matrices, right, can be given or not given. That means, right, this information can be described to you in words. So there are some questions where they will describe to you in words, and then you got to decide whether you're going to put the metric in this way or you're going to put the metric in this way. So obviously, we got to check the condition. So in this case, they have given it to you. So they have arranged the marks in such a way that it is 3 times 1 metric. So if you take a look, this is a 3 times 1 metric, and then this is a 2 times 3 metric. By the condition of metric multiplication, it is possible to multiply. So if let's say the marks is described to you and it's not given to you in a metric form, you need to form it in this way. This metric wouldn't work because this is a 1 times 3 metric. So if you put a 1 times 3 metric with a 2 times 3 metric, so 2 times 3 and a 1 times 3, it wouldn't allow you to multiply. So remember, if it allows you to multiply, the middle number will need to be the same. So this is how you make some sense of the question. So if here, so for first part, you're just supposed to do the metric multiplication. So if you do think about it, so it's multipliable, and then it is going to give you a 2 times 1 metric. So how does a 2 times 1 metric looks like? So it will be something like this. So when you do metric multiplication, always have the end product in mind first. So here I'll be getting a 2 times 1 metric, and in part B, we are supposed to explain. Okay, so you try the technical part first. So in case you already forgotten, how do you do the multiplication? So it's always row times column. So it will always be the first row and the column. So that will be for the first number. Then later on, you repeat second row same column, that will give you the second number. So how do I get the first number? Okay, you actually don't need to show the working. But in any case, if you, for those of you, if let's say you kind of need to refresh, how do you multiply? Okay, so let me do it at the side for you. So you remember, you are doing like first number multiplied by first number. Second number multiplied by second number. Third number multiplied by third number. And then your job is to add them up. So just punch your calculator, you'll get a 63. Okay, then go for the second row, and then with the same column. So we're going to repeat. So again, it will be the first number multiplied by the first number. Second number multiplied by the second number. Third number multiplied by the third number. So if you punch calculator, you will get a 65. So you do not need to show the working, you just need to show the answer. So there are two numbers. So at the end of the matrix multiplication, there are two numbers that you got. So you actually need to explain the two numbers. When the question is explain what your answer in A represent. So if you want to, you can describe one by one. Okay, so if you take a look, right, just now when I'm doing the horizontal, the blue horizontal, I'm actually using Anna information. So this is the number of questions which Anna got correct, incorrect, or not attempted. And actually, I multiply with the marks. So 63 is the mark is Anna's score. Okay, and then 65 will be, sorry, the English is wrong. Okay, so 65 is Fiona's mark. So you can describe it one by one, or you can explain that the answer in A shows the total mark of Anna and Fiona. So you can either use one statement or you can describe it in one by one. So some students, if you are describing in one sentence, if your sentence doesn't have keywords, in this case, the keyword is the marks of Anna and Fiona. So if you didn't describe properly, you might get marks deducted. So some students actually prefer this way. They prefer to describe each number one by one. Okay, so it's up to you how you want to do it. So if you look at example 2, it's almost the same idea. Okay, so in example 2, you got some information that are tabulated. Okay, so let's look at what's the tabulated information. So in this question, a shop sells chocolate and vanilla cookies. So there's 2 flavors of cookies and we got 2 sizes. And we got the cost of a large and a small box. So this is the information. So usually, if the information is in a table, so respectively, that will be the metric as well. So we will keep the metric as if it's in the tabulated form. So in a way, right, the 4 numbers, if you summarize, this will be the chocolate, and this is a small box, this is a large box, this will be the vanilla, how many in large and how many in L. And then So then the small box is $5. The bigger box is $8. So apparently this one is the metric for the cost. Okay, so in this question, we are supposed to do a multiplication first. They already arranged it for you. So they already arranged the metric nicely for you. If you check, this is a 2 times 2, this is a 2 times 1, and it is multipliable. And I'm getting a 2 times 1 metric. So I should be getting two numbers. So again, we go by the logic of row times column. So from the first metric is row, from the second metric is column. So here I'll be doing a 32 times 5. First number times first number. The second number is 25 times 8. So you add them up. So in this question, you will get 360. So do the same thing for the second row and the same column. So you get first number times the first number, second number times the second number. Then again, you go and punch up calculator. You will get 160. So after you work it out, okay, your job is to describe. Okay, to describe what does the answer represent. So you got two numbers to explain. You got to explain why is this 360. You got to explain why is this 160. So if you would like to explain, right, you observe your multiplication. You observe your multiplication. How do you get the 360? So you observe the multiplication. How do you get the 360? You get it from 32 small chocolate times $5, and you get it from 25 large chocolate, and you multiply by 8. So in actual fact, the 360 is the amount of money, because this is in money. The $5 and 8 is in terms of money. So the answers, so 360 is the amount of money collected from selling chocolate cookies. And the same thing, if you observe, 160 is the amount of money collected from selling vanilla cookie. So you got to explain in the context, because the context starts with the shop selling. So that means, right, the shop actually collect this amount if they from the chocolate cookies, from the sale of the chocolate cookies. Again, if you would like to describe it in sentence, you can say that the answer in A represent the amount of money collected from the sale of chocolate and vanilla cookies. So you can do it in one sentence format, or you can describe it in numbers. You describe it one by one. It's your choice. Okay, so these two are the more basic example. You make sure you know how to multiply and what does the product give you. That depends on what you are multiplying. So you must always explain to the context.